Welcome back to episode number 23 of the Altered States Unplugged podcast. I am one half of this dynamic duo. My name is Kyle Strubing. The other half is my wife partner, Jojo Strubing. Jojo, baby, how are we doing today?
We are good. We are rocking and rolling this morning. A lot of exciting things going on at Altered States headquarters.
HQ. Yes.
Yeah, we've got some exciting updates. I don't even know where to start. So we've got Houston location who has officially signed a lease. So woohoo! We will actually have those, the owner Justin and his GM Jamie on the podcast coming up in the coming months, so you guys can get to meet them and hear about their story of why they decided to franchise with us and hear all about that. So they will be coming to Vintage Park in Houston. So we are really excited. It's a beautiful location. It's an old cycle bar, so they'll be redoing that location, and they're starting that build out. It's going to be beautiful. I'm so excited. So.
Yeah, it's super exciting. It'll be our first franchisee build that's not in our backyard. So I'm confident we've been down to Houston a bunch of times already. But I'm excited to learn what challenges that may apply. I can't just run out and go there and fix something. So
you'll probably try.
Yeah, I'm going to try for sure. And we'll be down there, but it's not like it's like right in our backyard. So I'm excited for that challenge, kind of leveling our game up for sure. So that'll be great.
Yeah.
It's like Jojo said, insane location.
Beautiful. It's like kind of, for those of you who are in Dallas area, it's kind of like the Shops at Legacy kind of area.
Yeah.
So lots
very
of
high
shopping
ceilings, tons of walk-up traffic.
Yeah.
In honestly a place that doesn't have a huge wellness presence too. There's some, so it's good that they don't have to totally educate everybody on it. They can kind of just get in where they fit in there. But also, there's so much opportunity. Yeah. We were shocked at how little there was there. So
if you have friends in Houston, let them know this summer an Altered States Wellness is opening near them.
Yes. So the goal, we're in sprint mode now. So we're excited about it. So this episode, we're going to go a little bit different on this because we're going to talk to you from behind the scenes on our own journey. We talk about our journey all the time with customers, with potential franchisees all the time. It's about our journey. We feel that that's very important for us, and that's kind of one of our differentiators as franchisors because we've been there. Right? We talk about we've been in your shoes. That's the biggest thing. So we're going to kind of touch on some of those things, in reference things before Altered States was a pipe. I mean, Altered States was a pipe dream at that point. We didn't even know. So we're going to be going back to 7 years ago and all that stuff. So, we signed on the dotted line with a franchise, just like every one of the people that we talk to. Mm-hmm. So I think we're uniquely qualified to kind of delve into some of this.
Yeah, it's been an interesting transition, and we got asked this yesterday by a candidate, like what has been, your learning lessons from going from franchisee to franchisor, and I think you'll hear that throughout this episode here. But having that perspective from being a prior franchisee has been really helpful in building out this franchise. I couldn't imagine doing it having not had that experience, because we knew exactly what we wanted for our franchisees. Like, I knew we wanted this insane support. We knew that we needed, X and Y and Z. So it's been really exciting journey to have that perspective.
Yeah, and it really, I think it saw an area of opportunity for us and lit a fire under our ass as well. Are we supposed to, can I cuss in this episode? That last episode it had BS in the title, so.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
No, but it really lit a fire under us to say, here, look, like there's a right way to do this and there's a wrong way to do this. And I feel like in our first, with our first endeavor with franchising being on that side, there's just a lot of I guess there's just a lot of gaps, let's put it that way. And we've created this model to fill those gaps for sure.
Yeah.
So it's something that's very close and passionate for us.
So if you're listening to this episode, you're probably a little curious. What does franchising look like? What does business ownership look like? Maybe you're just into the wellness industry, and you're kind of maybe thinking about switching gears or something. So today we're going to kind of take you through, those things that, you should be looking out for if you are looking for a business opportunity, and how we, kind of mitigated that at Altered States Franchise. So.
Right. All right. So number one, what would you say?
Yeah.
For very first, most important.
Yeah. So we really wish that we would have understood the franchise disclosure document from the beginning.
Right.
So if you're not familiar with franchising, it's called the FDD, Franchise Disclosure Document.
Right. It's your Bible.
Yeah. This is it explains, everything about the franchise, from, startup budget to, potential revenue, what your relationship is going to look like with that franchisor. So it's typically like a 200, 300, 400 page document. It's very lengthy. And when I think back to when we, were with our franchise, we got that document. I didn't hire a lawyer to go over it. I was so tunnel vision and excited about this new business opportunity that, we just signed it. And, look, there's no gotchas in the FDD. It's not like, oh gosh, we got screwed. It's just, I just wish I would have taken a step back, because it would have helped me, understand what the trajectory was going to look like of our relationship, and understand what I can hold the franchisor accountable for, and what they're going to be holding me accountable for. So it wasn't like a
gotcha
getting
or
screwed
anything.
over with legal documents, but it just really helps you understand the business a little bit better. And one thing that we really try to do with our candidates is we'll send over a video, or we'll hop on a call to kind of walk you through, so you just really understand, it's hard to get all the details of a business opportunity. It's like drinking from a fire hose when you're doing this, but it's important for us that, you as a franchise candidate understand, what are the costs going to be associated with getting this storefront open. We don't want that to be a surprise to you. We want you to understand and be prepared for that, because the worst thing that we can do as franchisors is, put you in a position where you're not prepared for, the potential cost there. So, we really try to make sure that you understand that. Also, the item 19, which is, our, financial performance and what, the revenue is based on the capacity projections. So, you aren't guessing, that you could be doing this or you could be doing this, and what's there. We have to be careful, and we don't make any promises or guarantees, but those are things that you should be asking, right? What are the fees? What are you going to be paying us every month to be providing you, the rights to use our brand and the support and all of the marketing stuff that we're doing? What marketing are you required to do? This document outlines all of that. And I think it just really helps, the relationship for the franchisor and franchisee start out really well here. Right.
And these are state regulated documents. And I know we have licenses to do this and stuff, but it's, item 9 or 9, 11, 19, 11, 6, 7, it's all pretty standard. Each one in Texas. Is it Texas or nationwide? Nationwide,
yeah.
Right. So that's nationwide. The item 19 is going to be the same thing. You just, that way, know to go to look for that. That's just standard procedure, so a lawyer would be able to communicate that, but just as you go through it and kind of work with your lawyer, or if you want to do it yourself too, by all means, but that way you can kind of understand that this is kind of how it's done to a certain standard, right? Yeah. It's not just something that was, that's our item 19. It just so happens, and then someone else is in item 23. It's a standard, it's regulated, it's done by attorneys. There's licenses that are attached to it. So it's not just some fly-by-night stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So My one piece of advice, if you're looking at a franchise opportunity, is go over that FDD with a lawyer. Ask the franchisor to go over the FDD with you and give you some additional perspective. Like, we'll give a little more insight as to like why we have a franchise fee and what that marketing does for us. And, all of that information is really valuable. So,
and they're valid questions too. We don't take offense to it. It's like, no, let's before you commit to this, let's have a good solid relationship and put our cards on the table, and this is what you're responsible for and this is what you're responsible for. And then that way there's no questions in the end, and we're not, per item whatever that says you can't do this. So really go through that, and that is important.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. Number 2, we wish we would have asked more about onboarding and support. To me, this is number 1. This is number 1. We thought we were going to get this super clear roadmap, and you got to use X brand colors and a counter height at XYZ, and it was just going to be to insane detail, almost like OCD detail. We didn't get that. We got
2-page manual
on the build out. Like, what are we talking about? Whereas when we do this, it's we're constantly on the phone. We
have a full online training, a 200-page manual. I mean, like every document SOP, we smother you in support and onboarding, because we don't want there to be a second that you ever feel overwhelmed or unsupported or wondering what to do next, because that's what we're here for.
And if you do it wrong, you've got to redo it again, and that's time and money. Yeah. That's what you're there for.
Well, at the end of the day, that's why you're buying into a franchise. You're not buying into a franchise just so you can put, Subway on the outside of your business. Well, yes, there's some brand recognition 100%. And there's some value for that, but the franchisor should be providing you support. You are buying their business in a box, so they need to provide that roadmap. They need to be providing that ongoing support. So, as you look at different brands in the franchise world, ask what support are you going to be providing me, and make sure that you have them show you. If they say, we have a manual, okay, I'd like to see that. They're not going to send you home with it. But if they pull out something that's this big, then you can maybe start asking some more questions, right?
We pull our manual out and it's like this thick, and it's you're spending tens of thousands of dollars, not only for that, but for the support of that, right? And we understand, I don't learn how JoJo learns. JoJo can watch, a video or read whatever, and she just has it. I got to put these things into practice too. So are you going to come out to my store before grand opening comes and tell me and run through some of these situations? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do here? I know that I can go to a corporate location, but all that's going to change in my store with my layout and my demographic. I get frustrated with it because if we look back and see the amount of work that we're putting into it, that would have saved us so much 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. We want to be that for people. We saw what was wrong, and it's work. It's we paid these people. Granted, it wasn't a huge franchise fee, but we're cognizant that you guys are investing in us, and we have to make this work. So put in the work.
Yeah. So it's so important.
All fired up.
Ask the questions. This is something we're obviously so passionate about. So, ask the questions. What does that support look like? How many days are you going to train with me? What are you going to be going over? And that actually should be in the FDD. But, so ask those questions. Don't let it be a surprise for you or, oh crap, and then don't just ask the franchisor, go and validate with current franchisees. Right. So ask the current franchisees, hey, what was your onboarding experience like? What kind of training are you getting now that you're already a franchisee? Because they will be honest with you. And those are the people you really want some insight from. For sure. And don't just, and if the franchise they're doing $70,000 a month or whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh. It's how did they do that? Is that replicable? Are you giving me the tools to replicate that what is their differentiating experience? And how do I replicate that? So,
we're kind of getting into the weeds and I'm getting fired up. But yeah, that's kind of too, we wish we definitely would have asked more in the beginning about onboarding and support.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Number three
is we wish we would have asked about their future plans. Like, what is the vision for the company? So those of you who know our franchise, it was very specific around one ingredient. And we weren't really knowledgeable at that time yet about that industry. So we didn't really think about where it would go or what the opportunity was there. And so we probably didn't ask enough questions
Definitely
around
didn't.
like, what are your plans for the brand? How are we going to grow? Because, if we would have, looking back, we were very much pigeonholed into that one ingredient.
Right.
And so, I don't think we were prepared for the future. And when, that's why we built Altered States Wellness, not to be pigeonholed into one service or one offering. We have a very wide, offering to bring multiple revenue streams and ensure that we can always pivot and grow with, as things change, because things are always going to be changing. So, but really taking the time to understand what is your vision, where could this potentially lead us, and making sure that aligns with where you see yourself wanting to go. If they, their vision is, we're going to add in mobile food trucks and really focus on building out our events, and that's not your thing. It's good to know that, right? What are y'all going to be investing in this company, and asking that.
What direction do you see what direction do you see this industry as a whole moving, and what, how do we plan on capitalizing on that? And, what happens if all of a sudden what we do is illegal for whatever? Ask those questions. And then the other one too, ask them what their exit strategy is. And if they have zero exit strategy, then they're just not a good business person in general, right? You got it. These are questions we should have asked. We did not. And it wasn't catastrophic, but it's certainly, I think it would have opened us up to different possibilities, probably.
Yeah, this is something we really intentionally put into our Altered States concept, to really think about the future and where, this wellness industry can go, because things change, trends change, new science comes out. We want to be able to pivot and add in new things. And so it's just important, no matter what industry you're looking at, that is something you're thinking about. So.
All right. So enough of the negative, right? Enough of talking about our mistakes, feeling bad about myself. But let's talk about more things that we were glad that we did, things that we did right. Things that we did right.
Love talking about things I do well.
So the first thing, So the first thing we did was we did talk to other franchisees, right?
Yes.
We
very much.
Very, very much. This is where we gain. Honestly, this was the best part, aligning with, and we were fortunate that we got in early. So we had some early adopters, some risk takers, and some people that were a lot like us, right? Mm-hmm. And even people that we now still do business with. So so for us, we built those bonds, and they really carried us through and really helped us out. It wasn't corporate. Yeah.
Well, and the tough thing was that corporate had not at the time owned their own stores.
Yeah.
So, when we were talking to them, it's like, oh, how long is the build out? Oh, you could do it in this amount of time, and then you go talk to a store owner and they're like, oh, well, I was able to do it in this, and I had this issue with my plumbing and this, and you're like, okay, you're getting the real tea here. So those people are going to tell you the honest truth, and that's who you want to be speaking with. And in the FDD, it lists the contact information for all franchisees. So you can just call them. You don't have to reach out to the ones that they recommend, right? You can reach out to any of them. And if
they discourage it, pass. Move on.
Oh, yeah. Move on. For sure.
Don't even. And like I said before, we like to preach a lot of, using Altered States as a platform too for you. So now, we look back 7 years ago, I'm doing bigger deals now with people that we were in that before. We had that working relationship, and that's kind of carried over. Yeah. So think of kind of who you're associating yourself with. If you look around, you're like, bro,
this is going to be your community,
and if you're like, this guy looks like he has, you opened the store with 30 grand in his 401k and he sleeps in his mom's basement, like it might not be the place for you too. So you really want to make sure that you're leveling up with that. So
but it's a great opportunity too. Like that's one of my favorite things about being in a franchise is the community and the culture and making sure you vibe with these people. Like, I mean, the people we reached out to and spoke with, like they wound up being like great friends and a great community to be a part of for years. And they were our business and moral support, especially since we didn't get a ton of that support through the franchise. So we found it in the franchisee. So go find out if those are going to be your people, are these people that are going to bring you value and you can bring them value. It's a big one.
We kind of skipped over. That was kind of number 3, but I have a hard time following rules, but no, just really digging in on the community of the whole thing. That was one of the best things. We lucked out, and that was from asking the questions, talking, going into their stores, doing this, that, and the other. And if you're talking to a newer franchise, have you been talking to the salesperson, or are you talking to the co-founders? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? So being able to have access was key. Was key to that. Number two, we made the leap on this one. So even though it wasn't perfect, it wasn't exactly what we liked, we believed in the industry, we believed in the product, and we just realized that we couldn't do this by ourselves. Mm-hmm. We felt like having even that limited amount of support, a ton of community, that we could get by. It was, kind of like we had to make the considerations, but we still went ahead and did it. Yeah.
Making that leap into just business ownership in general was something I'm so grateful for. Like we had that entrepreneur bug. You had dabbled in businesses before, but we just went for it. And yes, we had tunnel vision and we didn't ask all the questions, but I'm so glad we did it. Like we learned so much. We figured it out. We made mistakes, but, and I think just, if you have that pull in you, if you're feeling that tug towards a business opportunity, bet on yourself. Don't be afraid to take the risk, because if you're having that, you'll figure out the way. You will.
If you're a problem solver and have been successful in other things, it's not rocket science, especially with a little guidance. Your franchisor should be there so you don't make the $50,000 mistake. That's what we're there for. Yeah. But you can do this. It's not, if I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. It's hard work and problem solving, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Make the leap. You've been successful before. You just carry those same habits. It's not rocket science. But
the last one was, one thing we're happy about is we found that community. So like big. We said, even in a model that didn't have a ton of corporate support, we had a ton of support from the other owners. And that was huge. We have relationships that we still have to this day. We had a great group chat that was always fun to be a part of.
Out of control.
Having that strong community is huge. And like I said earlier, it's one of the biggest reasons I love franchising, because entrepreneurship and business ownership can be a little lonely. It can be hard on those days where you don't have the answer. But, now we've got a Slack channel for our franchise, and I look forward to going in there and talking to franchisees. I love when a franchisee reaches out to us for help, because we genuinely love helping. And it's just, I don't know, having that community is truly enjoyable, and having somebody you can go to when you feel stuck, that's what's important,
And you as a franchisee should also be very involved to help and to, you kind of you get what you give in those things, and don't look at it as, for ours are so geographically spread out, but when our franchise, they were 5 miles apart, some of these stores. So it was I had this, I ain't telling you anything, because then I want them to come to me. Why would I? Yeah. And that was the wrong mentality for sure. I think kind of as a franchise, you want to build the brand and use the economies of scale, whether that's in purchasing marketing, or just building the brand as a whole, getting people in. They go to the multiple different locations. So that really helps. So keep that positive mentality, that growth mindset, like JoJo tells me all the time. Kyle, that wasn't very growth mindset. mindset. I'm like, I know I'm a flawed man, but as you go through and you learn these lessons.
Yeah.
You learn these lessons for sure.
Yeah. So when it came time to build Altered States Wellness after our years of learning lessons, we knew we wanted to build a franchise that we wish we would have had. So, when we walk people through our concept, you'll see that strong support and that strong onboarding. Like, we really, really take pride in that. We talk you through the FDD. We want you to talk to our franchisees. And we really foster that strong community so that you have that throughout there. So if you are, franchise curious, come chat with us. We'd love to take you through our concept overview, share more about, what it would look like to own an Altered States Wellness. It may not be the fit for you, or it may be the best decision you've ever made. So come chat with us. We are looking for incredible people to help us grow this brand. We are growing quickly. There is a high demand right now for our services. Our
Great
studios.
territories are getting snatched up.
So come chat with us and let's vet it out for you.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, follow, all that good stuff.
Yep. Until next time.
See you.